I found this cute little skirt in the kids department, but I'm gonna copy it, make it a lot bigger. Show you what I did. Coming up. Hey, Chanel here, Queen of Skirts, bringing you weekly videos to help you get better and better with your fashion sewing and be more creative too. So be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell so you never miss out on a new video. So I have my crown on today because I'm bringing you a skirt video and I am Queen of Skirts. I love making skirts. They offer so many creative opportunities. You can chop them up, splice them, all kinds of stuff. And then they're easy to fit, easy to work on, all that. So when you want to do some creative sewing, pick a skirt. That's my new motto. Anyway, so I found this skirt in the Goodwill store. I actually pinned it back together because I took it apart. So I have a sewing school, and I probably bought this 10 years ago, and I have a lot of kids. I have summer camps and all that, and I'm always trying to find creative, simple projects for them. My intermediate kids, like what is next? So I saw this and went, huh, this is interesting. And I just love the shape of this. I really had to study it. So I had taken it apart at the yoke part, and then I looked at the skirt a little further. It's literally a square right here. It's a square. And I thought, wow, a square on a yoke. That's called a yoke. And I love doing yoke skirts. I think they make, I'm kind of the inverted triangle shape, and then that yoke part, and then the fullness on the bottom just thins me out a little bit. So I'm thinking about myself, doing skirts for myself. You know, I used to not do skirts for myself. I used to just make skirts, and I thought, you know, why don't I do these for myself? Just because they're bigger. But so I'm doing them for myself and wearing them, you know. I have one over there I'm looking at there, and it's can't wear it because it's like size small somehow, and I don't know, can't wear it. So what I did was I took this skirt apart, all right here. I kind of pinned it on there to show you, and I laid it out, and I started with see how much bigger this is? This is actually on the bias right here. I made a yoke right here just to kind of gather it in, and then here is the square. Somehow I don't remember doing this. I started this months ago, and then I got sidetracked with stuff, so I don't remember making this pattern, but it's a real simple square right here. Oh, it's just a square, and it fits me, and it has a great drape to it. I don't know if you can see it, but it's like, actually I put pins on the edge here. I tried it on. So you wear it like this, and then it just has, you know, straight, peak, straight, and what fun you can do with that. So I did that, and I have this fabric that I found at Joann's, and I just loved it. And they were having like this weird denim sale, like all denim $6.99. I'm like, oh my God. So this was like $15 or $20 a yard, and I thought, it's $6.99. So I bought it, and I don't know what to do with it, because this is it's all embroidered. It's actually really pretty, like that. Wow. Talk about work on that. And a nice thin cotton, and just real simple. But what do you do with something like that? I don't know. So I had a little challenge on there. But then when I did the square skirt here, I lined one of the squares up with this right here, and then it will go that way, and then line up I think they line up actually really well. It's just the weirdest thing. So I'm going to show you how, I don't know how this is going to turn out, but it should be good. I can see it. When you can see it, you can make it happen, right? So, and if it doesn't, I'll never show you this video, and then you never know about it, so it's okay. But I'm going to start on that. Then I was thinking, what color yoke do I do? So the white part here, and I have this denim that I use in my camps. I make this denim skirt with the girls, and they fray the edges, and there's darts and zippers and all that stuff, and wow, the kids do really good with it. But this is, I think I'm going to do the yoke with this. It's a tad darker, which is actually fine. But then I did let me see, I did this little sketch. Where did it go? There it is. So it's a little sketch, but it's a little sketch. So I think I was doing this on the edge of, it's like tracing paper. So I thought, if the yoke, what if I cut it up, like sort of like a corset looking, you know, like a corset has the pieces, and then put top stitching on the edge. And I happen to have this great top stitch thread, just thick, and then do like panels. I thought, interesting. So I have to cut up the pattern, and I have that on the bias, but now I have to cut it into strips. So yeah, I have to work on that one. And then do top stitching, then add the yoke. And then I have this, so I always go, things just kind of arrive, and I always have to pay attention, because I was probably supposed to use that in something. So this was in my little stash, just in my little office, and then this was sitting here. I don't remember where I got it. Might have been donated, because, I might have bought this. I think I bought this 5 years ago when I got married, and because I was doing a nautical dress, and yeah, I was buying all these fun trims. That was probably the funnest part of making a dress, was actually going shopping and finding trims. I had like a rope on it, and made it into a nautical. So I think I had this as an option. Yeah, that's where I got that. But this is like a rope that I can actually just, I'd have to hand stitch this onto the edge of the yoke where it blends into the skirt to kind of break it up. So I was trying to think of pipings and all kinds of things, what to break it up with and add a little jazz to it. I also thought about, if I have enough, stitching this all the way around the hem. That might be kind of cool. And a lot of work, a lot of hand stitching. So anyway, I'm gonna get started on this. Finally, it's been here, sitting here for months, and I have like 3 or 4 other skirts ideas that I have, and then I thought, no, I have to do, I call this the square skirt. I have to do this skirt first before I go on to the other ones. So here is the muslin or pattern laid out, and it's actually like a circle skirt, but has squares right here. And this is where I'm going to see how it lays on the fabric. It's about a 1-inch hem. So that's what that whole pattern looks like. Just a big square. That's going to be fun to cut. And then this was the yoke. It was cut on the bias. And I don't know where my pattern went, but what I'm going to do is just cut these into 3 panels. And I put the grain lines in here. Started with the center front. Got the grain lines right. Then labeled it front, middle, and side. And then I put notches right here, and I'm just gonna cut them, and if it turns out good, I'll make a pattern later. So I'll just be cutting it here. Actually, this is I think I did a 3 1/8 slice. So I'm just gonna cut here, and then I'm gonna add seam allowance to these. I'm just gonna lay them out on the fabric and add seam allowance. I could do a pattern, but then I just wanna see if it works out good. So there's my side. I gotta cut 4 of those. And then the middle, right here, so you just set it up. You can draw it right on fabric, and I got also, this is on the bias. I'm going to make sure I don't stretch this at all. I don't want to be like tugging it, because yeah. And then this is the center front, and right here, looks like I got it off on the notch a little bit. And then I'll add a seam allowance to that. I'll put little double notches so I know where goes what. Because once these are into fabric, you don't know, is that one there or that one there? So that's what I'm going to do that. And I'm going to get this all cut out on to my fabric now. Okay, I think I'm ready to cut this out. I laid the whole square out here. This, for some reason, doesn't exactly match up. I mean, I guess it's better, but I was really tweaking this, trying to make this work, because the panels seem to be even, but this was out a little further than the other. So, but I had, when I had made the muslin, I drew lines on here where this pattern would go. So it's going to go here, and then it doesn't go here, and then continues on. So I think, I don't quite know how I'm going to hem this edge here. So it'll just have to be a regular hem. I think that's on the side, and this is the front. So this whole strip right here lays in the front. This is a strange pattern. It's like, I wonder what anybody else ever did with this. It's very strange. And then how do you get started? Oh my gosh, you go in here and you get a little cut going. Try not to stretch the fabric out. And you get in there and you start cutting. Go around and around. Ugh. Pins will keep it down, and I'll have to move around the table. And then I'm on my way. I'm going to finish this up. Okay, got this all cut out. Take off the pattern. Oh. And that is how the square looks now. Wow. And when it goes on, it'll go around like that. Wow, pretty. And this will hang on the side like that. Oh my gosh, that's gonna be right in the center. That's cute. Okay. Interesting. Let's see how this one turns out. This is wild. Now I gotta cut out the yoke pieces and put it together. How simple is that? Okay, onto the little skirt pieces. So what I've done is I'm actually going to cut 4 at a time. I've lined this up very carefully. The fabric's really thin. I don't usually do that, but I want to get them all exact, and I don't want to cut them out all the time. Take forever. So I got the grain lines. So I got this all straight, and then I've got the grain lines all right on there and pinned in there. Oop. All these grain lines are right. And then I got to add a seam allowance. So I'm actually going to use a sharp Tailor's chalk. And these are the ones that irons out that the tailors use. And I have these on my website. Everybody asks about them. I have them on my stuff page, as I call them. And you got to buy them by the box. But I'm going to get a nice, fresh, sharp one. I'm going to add 1/2 inch to these side seams, or the seams. Oh, I should have. Man, that's not going to be easy. I probably should move that one up. You know, if I move this up just a hair, ooh, like that, I could probably, yeah, get that a 1/2 right there. Just want to make one cut instead of 2 little slivers right there. So I'm going to remind myself not to cut that one out. And I'll put lots of pins in it because it's 4 layers. And then this one's far enough away, so I'm just going to stick with that. And then I'm going to do 1/2 inch seam allowances on this side. And also I have a video out on how to use these invisible rulers if you ever need to know. It's in the sew bits. This one has a little bit of a shape to it. So I'll just get that cut out. That's the center front too. And then I'll be marking the notches right here too. Just going to do little snips. This one needs its seam allowance. And then if I really like this, I'm going to transfer it to paper. And then I'll have this pattern on paper, and I can use it again later because maybe I'd really like that yoke. And these match up right here. Wow, look at that. Those are the ones that go to each other. And then this already has the seam allowance here. And I have all the seam allowances on the bottom. And now, almost ready to cut. So I'll cut all these up, and then I'll just get little snips in where because it's denim frays a lot, I just make sure I got little ones. And this one's actually a double notch. I put a lot of notches on these so that I know which way's up. I'm actually going to put little tiny notches on the top parts of these too, so I know what's the top and the bottom, because I can see the bottom is where I had there's little pin pricks here, and I can see the little holes that was where it was connected to the skirt. Okay, now I'm about ready to start putting these pieces together. Here are my pieces. I'm going to just start with one part of it first, the front and then the back. Whichever turns out the best will be my front. separate these and keep those patterns on. So I got a front, a middle, a side, and all my little notches. So I'm gonna, first off, yeah, actually I gotta turn this one, right sides together, because that is my center front. I'm gonna sew a 1/2 inch here. Then I'm gonna line up this one while I'm here and put that one over there. So when you have these little pieces, they get, if you move them around too much, then you get confused. You're like, what piece? Because they all kind of look the same. I got this one here. Separate that. Put that one over here. And then that one. I could probably set up all 4 of them. Not all 4 of them. There's 6 of them. I can't remember. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah. There's 4 there. Now there's going to be 6 here. And I'm going to pin it this way over here, because I always like to pin in the direction I'm going to pull. So by the time I get over to this side, I'll be sewing this with the left side out right here. That's what I teach all my students. Set it all up so that when you get to the sewing machine, you don't have to move your pins around. Okay, that's what the first one looks like on the back. On the front, it's going to be all these seams, and then I'm going to press the seams over to the side and stitch it. And then what about the center front? I'll probably push that to one of the sides too. I could go open, but I just want to get one stitch there. Could do flat felt seams, but then it's all bulky, and I just want it to be thin with the top stitch. I'm going to go stitch that, see how it looks. Okay, got them all stitched. That's how that looks. Now I got to do the next one. Line these all up, stitch these. All right, got all these stitched, and I pinked the edges because it's fraying like crazy. Now I just have to press them. I'm going to press the seams towards the sides. So this is nice and flush with that. So it's not, I don't know what flush means, but how do you say? Nice and smooth. I don't want any little lip of fabric there. It's another strange word, but it's like, you know what I mean. And then this is the center front or center back, and I just got to pick a side for it to go over. I could press it open, but I don't want to. I just want to do like a kind of like a fake flat felt seam looking, where the top stitch is on the how do you say? Like in jeans, it's a flat felt seam. Actually, if you want to do flat felt seam, I have a video out on that, on how to do flat felt seams. So this, I just press this over, and then I'm going to top stitch with this top stitching thread. I think it says heavy duty. So the machines typically don't like heavy duty thread, but see if I'm probably going to use a swatch on it first, but it gives a nice deep color. Could also do a regular stitch and do a stretch stitch in there, which is actually 3 threads on top of each other, which actually gives it a nice look too. But I'm going to try this. If it doesn't work, I'll do that. All right, voila! I see a string hanging. So I cut all these strings off. I actually have a new membership starting called Thread Bosses, and it's because you got to be a thread boss. Cut all the strings off when you're done sewing, so that they don't get you frustrated, you know. That's my theory. Anyway, got the yoke all done, and have the side seams plain yet, so I'm going to see how they fit, how this fits, and then when it's done, I'll top stitch that also. And I picked the back, which one will be the back, and I pressed it towards the back. So now I have to connect these two. And this has no, I just thought of this, has no seam in it. It was just a cut piece of fabric. Wow. And I have I clip my notches here, so I got like centers. My the center of it is where the embroidery goes down, so I gotta make sure I get that in the right spot. Then I have like a side one here, Yeah, this one's the side with this design on there. Line it all up. Hope it fits, because originally that was on the bias, so I didn't even test it. I just hope it works. Anyway, I'll show you how I'm going to do that. Well, I got it pinned on. Got the yoke pinned on to the bottom of the skirt. Ooh, it's going to fall apart. Now I just have to do a 1/2 inch seam allowance all the way around here. Make sure none of this part gets stuck in there. Just go around it. And I tried on the yoke part over my pants I thought, I better check this. So, and it was tight. So I had I think I did like a 5/8 inch seam allowance on the sides. I probably should have did it a little bit smaller, but now I have, where'd it go? Now I have just like a little 1/4 inch seam allowance, and it left a little mark on there. I'm going to have to try to blend the fibers back. Denims sometimes will leave marks from the stitches, so try to blend it out. But that, my shirt will be covering most of it, so I'll have to work on that. And then I went ahead and top stitched it, so it's a smaller top stitch right there, but you won't be able to tell. So I'm going to go sew this all stitched. Let's see how it looks. Ooh. Woohoo! There we go. Wow. This will get elastic up here. Shirt will come down to here because I always wear everything out. And it'll look like a corset part right on the top. That is how it looks. Wow, and I love the way this line goes right here. Oh, that's going to be so much fun. Wow. Now, I just basted this part here because a lot of times I like to put pipings in the middle here. I might want to put one, I don't know. I have to think about it. And I also have that braid. I really like the braid. I think it kind of helps the breakup of these two pieces because this is a little darker and I think that helps mold it together. So I think I'm going to take a break. I'm going to think about it. And then I got to hem this thing. That's going to be a lot of pressing. All right. I'll see you tomorrow. I couldn't wait to try it on. I tried it on. It is so cute. Oh my gosh, I love this. It took forever to make this thing. So easy. It took me months to just get to it. Oh my gosh. So wow. I love it. It was so much fun. I love the way this pattern right here just goes on the side like that. It's so cute. So now I think I have decided, I don't have to think about it. I'm going to go ahead and stitch this on, this rope onto the edge right here. So I'm going to go over this, stitch it a little stronger and zigzag the inside and then stitch it right there. I could also top stitch this. I don't know. There's another thought. Oh my gosh. I have to do all that before I actually stitch this on. But I have time tonight to just hand stitch this on. So I'm going to do that, and then tomorrow I'm going to hem it. And then I'm going to wear it. Back another day. I got the trim on right here. It was actually much easier to put on than I thought it was going to be. Actually, I still have half of it left because I just wanted to show you what it looks like with and without the trim. I think the trim really helps pull the two pieces together, especially because this one's just a tad darker. I think it just really helped. And basically, I just kind of just did a whip stitch along here. Let me see if I can show you right here. Just kind of caught the braid in there, so it's pretty simple. The hardest part going to be is connecting it at the seam here, because when you cut this trim, I'll show you this other part. When you cut this, they tape it off when you buy it. When you cut it, it shreds. So what I did to start it was I kind of wrapped the thread around it and really tucked it in here like that. Just tuck it in, then I'll come in with the other piece and probably go over it a little bit and just really tack it in there. So I don't know how it's going to wash, but I'm probably going to dry clean this skirt anyway. I like my better skirts to dry clean them. Then I also lined this in a really lightweight tricot, because I wanted, the more rubbing all these seams on it, especially this fabric shreds so much. I just covered it, and it's actually so comfortable. Oh my gosh, I really love this skirt. It's just turning out so good. Now my next thing is I got to put the elastic on. That's this 1-inch rollover. I love the Dritz brand. There's a lot of those cheaper ones they used for hair ties that are online, and it says 1-inch fold over elastic, but they're usually kind of for hair ties. This one is the Dritz brand, and I have the link on my website for this too, but it comes in black and white, so you have to pick one. But I always like to do black, but this one just has white in it, so it just looked like part of the band. So I sewed the center back together here and trimmed that out a little bit, so that when I fold it over, that doesn't kind of come out the other end, so it'll be nice and flush. Then I found my marks are coming off, the center front, and then on the sides right there, and then I mark like this is the side, this is the center back where I put the X, and then you just sew as just kind of grip it over there. I have a tutorial in my sew bits on how to do the elastic on there, so it's in there, and so I just throw that on there, and I actually like to do a zigzag right there, and pretty simple to put on. So got that all done. Elastic. I didn't make the elastic grip too much because it barely fit me, but I hope it stays on. What are you gonna do? And I finished up the white braid, and then I prepared the hem. And what I did, boy, I kept going around it with the iron thinking, aren't I done yet? And it was a lot of pressing. The trick to really nice hems is to press first. And I have a video on it on Sew Bits on how to sew a simple hem on the machine, like a simple skirt hem on the machine. And the trick is you just press it up at your first mark, which I did 1 inch right here, and then you go what I call 50-50. I just so you got your first crease, you get your first crease first, and then you roll that in even to that one raw edge to almost touch that fold line, and then you press it over, and then you press. And then these right here, I just kind of folded them over and got them really pressed well, because I'm going to go over it and pivot right there. I might have to go down a little bit. I'm hoping I just have to pivot it so I don't make an ugly line right there, because those peaks go that way, although they fold in and you don't see them that well. So I'm going to go and stitch this. I also got in my stash an exact color of this, and it almost looks gray. So it could just do regular navy because it's denim, but I think it actually really it's more of a gray, and I really want it to hide in. And when you go over it, it'll show on the white, but what are you going to do? And when the bobbin, I have to put the bobbin thread on here because I'm going to sew it from up here, and then the bobbin will be down there. And then this puppy's done. I'm going to go hem that. I'll show you how it looks on the dress form. Voila! Chanel Queen of Skirts does it again. This one, I love this one. I want to wear it next week when it's going to be like 50 degrees out, and I should have finished it when it was warmer. I kept doing new skirts instead of this skirt, but I love this skirt. I had no idea it was going to turn out this cute. I'm like, oh my gosh! But look at that, just a square piece of fabric, and then it's just that design just went in there so well. So now I'm going to be looking at other fabrics in the fabric store. We're thinking about how the square, like how it would look. So when you come across a strange fabric that you're like, what do you do with this? Maybe it involves a square. Wait. So have you found any skirts in the stores? Like, you would go to Goodwill and find some unique skirts that you can take apart, or just like really study the line of them, and can you make a pattern with them? So speaking of patterns, I think I'm going to copy this pattern and have it available. I'm actually going to start a new Patreon membership. I've been working on a membership site called Thread Bosses for quite a while, and I was going to host it on my website, but I think I might put it on Patreon. It's a lot less paperwork and everything. So look for it there. I'll have a link and the pattern available. And wow, simple skirt. These even pieces right here too, you don't need a lot of fabric. You could even do like, you know, color blocks or something. So I'll have to look and see how much that fabric, it didn't seem like it took much, maybe a yard and a half total on the fabric for that square. So I didn't measure it. Probably should have done that, but I was too excited to see how it was going to turn out. You know how that goes. Anyway, so if you have any ideas or you have a skirt in your closet and you want to tell me about it, I'd love to hear it. I'm always looking for new skirts because I'm Chanel, the queen of skirts. Anyway, so if you like this video and you learned a little something or you got some ideas, some inspiration on there, please let me know. Love to hear about it. And I'll see you in the next video.